Hello all, my name is McBean and this is my Sea of Thieves account. I know that this isn't my usual content, but I would like to throw in a few Sea of Thieves videos in here or there. So let me know if you'd be interested and like the content. For this video I was inspired by Aurelian, and be sure to check out his page. I'll link his account above and at the end of the video. I also asked a few of the Discords that I'm a part of if they'd be interested in seeing my fleet of 14 ships, and I had some positive feedback. So here we go. Before we dive in, I usually play on sloops with mostly sailing the seas as a duo or solo. So most of my ships are sloops with only one brig and one galleon. I have a few categories for my ships, and more ships in some categories than others. So without further ado, let's get started. The first category of my fleet are the first. So I just named my first sloop, brig, galleon, all the same name but just different cosmetics. These are my kind of do whatever ship category, and I usually change the ship cosmetics depending upon my mood. But these are their saved themes. The first is RMS Masodon sloop. I decided to go with the fisherman blue theme, so I went with the silent barnacle figurehead, blue resolute hull and sails, the oyster prize wheel and capstan, with the eternal hunt cannons. Then to finish it off, I used the shark's bane crest to complete the look. For trinkets, I wanted to showcase my three favorite factions, being Hunter's Call, Merchant Alliance, and Order of Souls. The rest is pretty standard. For the brig, I stuck with the fisherman theme, but green, the venomous kraken figurehead, gorgon hull, wrecker wrangler sails, the graveyard gladiator wheel and capstan, the eternal freedom cannons, and the forgotten temple crest. For the interior, I mostly made the furniture green and purple with ultimately the same trinkets but more. For the galleon, I went with the blue headless horseman theme, so I have that as a figurehead, the silver blade hull, the rogue sea dog sails, the ravenwood wheel, cannons, and capstan, with the weeping waves crest. For the interior, obviously I had to load my ship with any skulls or heads I could get my hands on. The next category are my holiday boats, with the first of course being themed after my favorite holiday, Halloween. So my first sloop is Sleepy Hollow. For the figurehead, I went with the Collector's Coral Coven, with the Jack-o'-lantern hull, Collector's Cursed Ferryman sails, Jack-o'-lantern cannons, wheel, and capstan. And although I might change out the capstan for the Coral Coven capstan, I'm not sure yet. What do you think? Leave a comment below to help me figure out what the hell to do. But to finish it off, I went with the Dark Warsmith crest, signifying the lights of houses for when they're on, they're welcoming trick-or-treaters. For the interior, it's pretty much anything devilfish, skulls, and skeletal parts, as I assume you've guessed. Up next is my Christmas ship, the Yuletide. So for this ship, I chose the Boreal Aurora figurehead with the Merchant Alliance hull, since I think that the letter can represent sending letters to Santa. I went with the Bone Chiller sails, Bleakheart Banshee wheel to represent the chimney, Boreal Aurora cannons, the Ancestral capstan, and the Bone Chiller crest. I also put the frosted present flag on top. I usually don't point out flags since I mostly have my alliance flag up anyway, but I thought it's worth noting. For the interior, pretty much anything blue, glowy, or friendly, like the tanker trinkets. But up next is my birthday boat. It's obviously not a holiday, but my birthday is on June 21st, so that's the summer solstice. So I'm just gonna count this ship in this category. So for this ship, I practically used all of my favorites for each thing on the ship. So I tried to keep it somewhat cohesive, but let me know if it is. So I went with the Collector's Prehistoric Plunder figurehead, the Boreal Aurora hull, Sails of the Ocean Deep, the Eastern Winds Jade Wheel, the Ancestral Cannons, the Eclipse Capstan to signify the solstice, of course, and the Weeping Waves crest. For the interior, I chose pretty much anything purple, since that's my favorite color, as well as any trinkets that are sea, plant, or constellation based. Up next are my movie/media inspired ships. So the first one is Beetlejuice, because who doesn't love Beetlejuice? Just don't say it 3 times. For this ship, I went with the Gorgon Collector's figurehead, representing the sandworm, although probably the non-collectors would be a better representation, but I just like the Collector's figurehead better. But I then went with the Venomous Kraken hull, with the green and purple, the Relic of Darkness sails, Coral Coven wheel, the Flourishing Wild Rose cannons to represent Lydia's and his wacky relationship, the Blighted Capstan, since he's dead, and the waiting room scene, and then the Order of Souls ship crest. For the interior, I pretty much chose the color scheme to be anything that's white, black, or green with a funny, campy feel that represents his personality. I will note above the bed where I put the Wild Rose music box and Death Toll trinkets to represent Till Death Do Us Part. I thought it was pretty funny, but that's just me. Up next is the Ulysses. So this is actually the name of the submarine from Disney's Atlantis. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you watch it. It's not a very long movie anyway. For the figurehead, I chose the Silverblade figurehead to represent Kira and her crystal, Relic of Darkness hull, the Sunken Sorrow sails, Crystal Kraken wheel, the Cartographer cannons for Milo, the Veil of the Ancients capstan, and the Forgotten Temple crest. For the interior, I loaded the ship with maps, masks, and anything blue and shiny. Up next is the Red October from The Hunt for Red October. It's a great movie. Definitely recommend you watch it. So for this ship, I chose the Rare Legend figurehead, and I was lucky enough to get this from Rare's 35th anniversary back in 2020. It's definitely one of my favorite figureheads, and I try and use it whenever I can. But then I used the Glorious Sea Dog hull and sails, the Merchant Alliance wheel, Magpie Glory cannon and capstan, and then the Cardinal Lodestar crest. The interior is nothing fancy, just anything red and maps. Next is a Demeter, named after the ship Nosferatu was aboard when heading to England. I pretty much use anything and everything from the Crimson Crypt set, except for the Mass Renegade hull and capstan, and the Iron Maiden cannons. The interior is once again dead or red. Nothing too much to say about this ship other than I think it looks badass, but let me know what you think. The last of this category is the Nautilus from 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea, with the Kraken figurehead, prehistoric plunder hull, venomous Kraken sails, the crystal Kraken wheel, the Kraken cannons, venomous Kraken capstan, and the shark's bane crest. The interior is, you guessed it, any sea life, trinkets that are available, or anything blue. The last three are just on their own since they don't really fit into any of the categories. So the first is my Hunter's Call boat, and the ship that I've probably played the most on, the Real Deal. I find it funny, but also a bit of a basic name, but it gets the job done. I have on it the silent barnacle figurehead, bristling barnacle hull and sails, with the Eternal Hunt cannons, wheel, and capstan, with the shark's bane crest. The interior is anything and everything fish and megalodons as expected. The next is the Order of Ordeals. Just a random ship I made when trying to get to 15 ships for the achievement. I honestly only sailed this ship until I could unlock another sloop. So nothing much to say about this one. I'm honestly thinking about renaming it and giving it a new theme. I want a few funny ships, so I would love to use the first crew figurehead, but let me know what you think about what my next ship should be, and if you have any ideas for names. Last but not least is the Corgi crew, inspired by my own Corgi, Loaf, with the Pet Protector Collector's figurehead, the Pet Protector hull, Night Wolf sails, Eternal Hunt cannons, and Shadow Tide capstan with the shark's bane crest. I chose the Eternal Hunt cannons and the Shadow Tide capstan to kind of reflect my Corgi's personality, with being a little shark or explosive whenever she doesn't get her way. For the interior, the only things worth noting are the true companion picture and the dog bones. But that's it for now. I accidentally deleted one ship in the past for some reason for the full 15 fleet of ships. I have no idea why I did it, but I'll be sure to make an update video whenever I make at least 3 more ships. But until next time, leave a comment below for if you have any ideas for ship names or themes, and just for whatever you would like to see next. Thanks so much for watching, and safe sails!